And a good Friday to everybody listening in. Hello, welcome. I'm the Chattering Magpie, here for a Friday read-along of the Count of Monte Cristo. And of course with me is this lovable group of mischief makers.
Ne'er-do-wells.
You know what? I was gonna say that, but no, you always do well by me, everybody, so I can't.
It's Friday.
Hey.
For me, it's one of the busiest days, but also a fun day for me. So, hey. So, I am actually excited because this weekend, I'm gonna go on a little trip. So, but don't worry, we're still on for the weekend shenanigans as usual, but it'll be a nice little kind of local trip. So, what are you guys doing over this, I think it's holiday weekend, right?
What
Is it a holiday weekend?
Here in the US?
Here.
No? Veterans Day? When is Veterans Day? Because it's 11. So it's like holiday, no? For people? No?
Not for
I
me.
have ever experienced.
No.
Man.
So Monday,
Uh-huh.
Monday is the Marine Corps birthday.
Mm.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so
But November 11th, Tuesday, is Veterans Day.
okay, so I'm like totally disconnected from like the calendar because I work through federal holidays. Like I have no concept of holidays, so I thought it was a long week. All right, take one. Let's discard take one. Let's do take two. All right, everybody. Hope you guys have all fun plans for this non-holiday weekend. All right. With us is we already have some peeps on the chat, and look at you. Yeah, you're the very first one. You were on it. Like not long after I scheduled this, you were on it. Congratulations! Look at you with your #1 crown. Look at you crowning
I
here
look
and there.
forward to Teal stealing it, inevitably.
We'll see, Teal.
Did you say he's crowning?
Huh?
Did you say he's crowning?
Like, what is that? Something bad?
You know what?
Bad.
Not
Yeah,
bad, just weird.
Yeah, let's let you not know what I'm thinking here, so you can continue to be oblivious.
I don't know, you guys. Like, it's just like Gremlin is gremlining. You know, somebody has crowns. He's continued. Anyway, whatever. Oh my gosh, the internet is a horrible place. Okay. Okay, you guys. Take 3. Welcome, everybody. We're here to read some Count of Monte Cristo. With us is the gang, of course. Hello, gang. How are you?
Good.
It's Friday.
Hey.
Yeah.
Already done that bit.
You guys, I don't know why you guys are laughing so much, but it's contagious. Oh, my cheeks are hurting. Okay. Oh, look, Byron Balaam is with us. Hello, Byron. How are you doing? Oh, it's always nice to see you guys here. So after
Magpie sees person in the chat. He's like, "Ooh, distraction! Let's go there."
Then
Go.
there is Teal. Teal, Teal, what are you saying in the chat? I think you're talking in response to the summary that EA posted, right?
Correct.
And happy to see you, Teal, by the way. Fuji Petals is also here. Fuji, I see you are asking permission for something.
Yes. May I pray for how Yukihime feels in appreciation of this serendipitous meeting ordained by a weak leap's vengeance and the power of Darlabin, the god of longevity?
You may.
O weak leap, please grace Yukihime with your vengeance. O Darlabin, please bestow upon Yukihime your longevity.
I'm not even gonna ask because this is gonna take us on a long ass tangent. I don't even know what's going on, Yukihime. I'm gonna DM you later to see if you're okay. If maybe you need
What's
to
wrong with
touch
tangents?
grass or whatnot.
I thought you enjoyed our tangents.
I love tangents, but at this point, I don't know if it's something personal or not, so I have to be very delicate. So, Yukihime, you'll get a DM from me soon in support of whatever's going on. Lovely to have you here.
It's always great to be here and have fun with you guys, and I guess see what's going on in the weirdest way I have ever read a book. Because you have to understand that, unfortunately, guys, I have betrayed you. I am not watching like the times I am not live with you. I am not watching the Monte Cristo reads all the time, just sometimes. And so I am hearing a very disjointed story. It's actually ridiculous. I don't know what's happening at any point.
Okay, well,
Also betrayed you all.
the good thing is that we always have Yay filling us in with his long-awaited, much celebrated summary. Yay, why don't you take it away and fill everybody here in on what happened in the previous read?
I'll be happy to, and probably screw it up. Previously on the Count of Monte Cristo. Our pair of Parisian patricians procured places to perceive punishments previously precluded to them by either position or preference from their pleasant Persian-esq peer, the Count of Monte Cristo. Meanwhile, Franz postulated a procedure to probe into his premise that their princely paisan privately participated in profane pacts with pillagers and plunderers for payment, and proved so by perusing the portieres at the Rospoli palace. Post-proof, the party approached the Piazza del Popolo and partook in party encompassing the punishment turned performance. Much as predicted, Peppino was pardoned, prompting his partner to rampage. The Parisians were appalled and repulsed by the punishment. However, the Count was overpowered with pure pleasure at the punishment upon the perpetrator. What more will we pick up post-haste about the Count of Monte Cristo?
Bravo. Okay, Yay, that was incredible. How long did it take you to write that fascinating little
15
paragraph?
minutes.
Oh my gosh, that's some serious talent. Now, fess up, did you or did you not use AI? No, I'm kidding.
I did not use AI. I did, however, Google many synonyms.
Wow, wow.
Good for you.
Good for you. Good for you. Bravo. This does deserve a round of applause.
I think there's a word for sentences that have
Assonance.
have words that all start with the same letter.
Is it assonance?
It's
You didn't
alliteration.
quite
Or
you didn't quite meet that standard, but you were close.
alliteration. Alliteration. There we go. I confuse assonance with alliteration. Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell what you were saying because you guys were all talking over each other, so I just powered on.
Well, we are, as you can tell, you guys, we are full of literary genius here, and so I think we are the most talented individuals on the internet that can read this book together, professionally and
At
without
least the most
any
talented
hint of
within earshot.
nonsense. And without any nonsense, of course. We take ourselves very seriously. And so today, this group and we will read to you chapter 36 of the Count of Monte Cristo. And thank you, by the way, Yay, for listing out here on Discord the roles as ever. So dependable. Thank you. We have the Count of Monte Cristo and all of the roles that he plays is going to be played by Patrick, or read by Patrick. Albert Morcerf is going to be Teal. Franz Depinet is going to be Yukihime. The servant is going to be Yay82. Signor Pastrini is back. Signor Pastrini, Yay82. And the Countess is also going to be Yay82. Sweet. All right, you guys.
And of course, Magpie, you're welcome. I take pride in my performance.
Excellent. So let's get started and read the Count of Monte Cristo, chapter 36. Chapter 36. The Carnival at Rome. When Franz recovered his senses, he saw Albert drinking a glass of water, of which, to judge from his pallor, he stood in great need, and the Count, who was assuming his masquerade costume. He glanced mechanically toward the piazza. The scene was wholly changed. Scaffold, executioners, victims, all had disappeared. Only the people remained, full of noise and excitement. The bell of Monte Crito, which only sounds on the Pope's decease and the opening of the carnival, was ringing a joyous peal.
Well, what has then happened?
Nothing. Only as you see, the carnival has commenced. Make haste and dress yourself.
In fact, this horrible scene has passed away like a dream.
It is but a dream, a nightmare that has disturbed you.
Yes, that I have suffered, but the culprit?
That is a dream also. Only he has remained asleep, while you have awakened. And who knows which of you is the most fortunate?
But Peppino, what has become of him?
Peppino is a lad of sense who, unlike most men, who are happy in proportion as they are noticed, was delighted to see that the general attention was directed towards his companion. He profited by his distraction to slip away among the crowd without even thanking the worthy priest who accompanied him. Decidedly, the man is an ungrateful, egotistical animal. But dress yourself. See, Monsieur de Morcerf sets you the example.
Albert was drawing on the satin pantaloon over his black trousers and varnished boots.
Well, Albert, do you feel much inclined to join the revels? Come, answer frankly.
Ma foi, no. But I am really glad to have seen such a sight, and I understand what the Count said, that when you have once habituated yourself to a similar spectacle, it is the only one that causes you any emotion.
Reflecting that this is the only moment in which you can study character, on the steps of the scaffold, death tears off the mask that has been worn through life, and the real visage is disclosed. It must be allowed that Andrea was not very handsome. The hideous scoundrel. Come, dress yourselves, gentlemen. Dress yourselves.
Franz felt it would be ridiculous not to follow his two companions' example. He assumed his costume and fastened on the mask that scarcely equaled the pallor of his own face. Their toilette finished, they descended. The carriage awaited them at the door, filled with sweetmeats and bouquets. They fell into the line of carriages. It is difficult to form an idea of the perfect change that had taken place. Instead of the spectacle of gloomy and silent death, the Piazza del Popolo presented a spectacle of gay and noisy mirth and revelry. A crowd of masks flowed in from all sides, emerging from the doors, descending from the windows. From every street and every corner drove carriages filled with clowns, harlequins, dominoes, mummers, pantomimists, transteverns, knights, and peasants, screaming, fighting, gesticulating, throwing eggs filled with flour, confetti, nosegays, attacking with their sarcasms and their missiles friends and foes, companions and strangers, indiscriminately, and no one took offense or did anything but laugh. Franz and Albert were like men who, to drive away a violent sorrow, have recourse to wine, and who, as they drink and become intoxicated, feel a thick veil drawn between the past and the present. They saw, or rather continued to see, the image of what they had witnessed. But little by little, the general vertigo seized them, and they felt themselves obliged to take part in the noise and the confusion. A handful of confetti that came from a neighboring carriage, and which, while it covered Morcerf and his companions with dust, pricked his neck, and that portion of his face uncovered by his mask like 100 pins, incited him to join in general combat, in which all the masks around him were engaged. He rose in his turn, and seizing handfuls of confetti and sweetmeats, with which the carriage was filled, cast them all with all the force and skill that he was the master of. The strife had fairly begun, and the recollection of what they had seen half an hour before was gradually effaced from the young men's minds. So much were they occupied by the gay and glittering procession they now beheld. As for the Count of Monte Cristo, he had never for an instant shown any appearance of having been moved. Imagine the large and splendid Corso, bordered from one end to the other with lofty palaces, with their balconies hung with carpets, and their windows with flags. All these balconies are 300,000 spectators, Romans, Italians, strangers from all parts of the world, the united aristocracy of birth, wealth, and genius. Lovely women, yielding to the influence of the scene, bend over their balconies or lean from their windows and shower down confetti, which are returned by bouquets. The air seems darkened with the falling confetti and flying flowers. In the streets, the lively crowd is dressed in the most fantastic costumes. Gigantic cabbages walk gravely about, buffaloes' heads bellow from men's shoulders, dogs walk on their hind legs. In the midst of all this, a mask is lifted, and, as in Callot's temptation of St. Anthony, a lovely face is exhibited, which we would fain follow, but from which we are separated by troops of fiends. This will give a faint idea of the carnival at Rome. At the second turn, the Count stopped the carriage and requested permission to withdraw, leaving the vehicle at their disposal. Franz looked up. They were opposite the Rospoli palace. At the center window, the one hung with white damask and red cross, was a blue domino, beneath which Franz's imagination easily pictured the beautiful Greek of the Argentina.
Gentlemen, when you are tired of being actors and wish to become spectators of this scene, you know you have places at my windows. In the meantime, dispose of my coachman, my carriage, and my servants.
We have forgotten to mention that the Count's coachman was attired in a bear skin, exactly resembling Audrey's in The Bear and the Pasha, and the 2 footmen behind were dressed up as green monkeys with spring masks, with which they made grimaces at everyone who passed. Franz thanked the Count for his attention. As for Albert, he was busily occupied throwing bouquets at a carriage full of Roman peasants that was passing near him. Unfortunately for him, the line of carriages moved on again, and while he descended the Piazza del Popolo, the other ascended toward the Palazzo di Venezia.
Ah, my dear fellow, you did not see?
What?
There, that calash filled with Roman peasants.
No.
Well, I am convinced they are all charming women.
How unfortunate that you are masked, Albert. Here was an opportunity of making up for past disappointments.
Oh, I hope the carnival will not pass without some amends in one shape or another.
But, in spite of Albert's hope, the day passed unmarked by any incident, excepting 2 or 3 encounters with a carriage full of Roman peasants. At one of these encounters, accidentally or purposely, Albert's mask fell off. He instantly rose and cast the remainder of the bouquets into the carriage. Doubtless one of the charming females Albert had detected beneath their coquettish disguise was touched by his gallantry, for as the carriage of the two friends passed her, she threw a bunch of violets. Albert seized it, and as Franz had no reason to suppose it was meant for him, he suffered Albert to retain it. Albert placed it on his buttonhole, and the carriage went triumphantly on.
Well, there is the beginning of an adventure.
Laugh if you please. I really think so. So I will not abandon this bouquet.
Pardieu! In token of your ingratitude.
The jest, however, soon appeared to become earnest, for when Albert and Franz again encountered the carriage with the contadini, the one who had thrown the violets to Albert clapped her hands when she beheld them in his buttonhole.
Bravo, bravo! Things go wonderfully. Shall I leave you? Perhaps you would prefer being alone?
No. I will not be caught like a fool at first disclosure by a rendezvous under the clock, as they say at the opera balls. If the fair peasant wishes to carry matters any further, we shall find her, or rather, she will find us tomorrow. Then she will give me some sign or other, and I shall know what I have to do.
On my word, you are as wise as Nestor and prudent as Ulysses, and your fair Circe must be very skillful or very powerful if she succeeded in changing you into a beast of any kind.
Albert was right. The fair unknown had resolved, doubtless, to carry the intrigue no farther, for although the young men made several more turns, they did not again see the calash, which had turned up one of the neighboring streets. Then they returned to the Rospoli palace, but the Count and the blue domino had also disappeared. The two windows, hung with yellow damask, were still occupied by the persons whom the Count had invited. At this moment, the same bell that had proclaimed the beginning of the mascherata sounded the retreat. The file on the corso broke the line, and in a second, all the carriages had disappeared. Franz and Albert were opposite the Via del Murate. The coachman, without saying a word, drove up to it, passed along the Piazza di Spagna and the Rospoli palace, and stopped at the door of the hotel. Signor Pastrini came to the door to receive his guests. Franz hastened to inquire after the Count, and to express regret that he had not returned in sufficient time. But Pastrini reassured him by saying that the Count of Monte Cristo had ordered a second carriage for himself, and that it had gone at 4 o'clock to fetch him from the Rospoli palace. The Count had, moreover, charged him to offer the two friends the key of his box at the Argentina. Franz questioned Albert as to his intentions, but Albert had great projects to put into execution before going to the theatre, and instead of making any answer, he inquired if Signor Pastrini could procure him a tailor.
A tailor? And for what?
To make us, between now and tomorrow, 2 Roman peasant costumes.
The host shook his head.
Make 2 costumes between now and tomorrow? I ask your Excellency's pardon, but this is quite a French demand. For the next week you will not find a single tailor who would consent to sew 6 buttons on a waistcoat if you paid him a crown apiece for each button.
Then I must give up on the idea.
No, we have them ready-made. Leave all to me, and tomorrow, when you awake, you shall find a collection of costumes with which you will be satisfied.
My dear Albert, leave all to our host. He has already proved himself full of resources. Let us dine quietly, and afterwards go and see Italiene et Alger.
Agreed. But remember, Signor Pastrini, that both my friend and myself attach the greatest importance to having tomorrow the costumes we asked for.
The host again assured them that they might rely on him, and that their wishes should be attended to, upon which Franz and Albert mounted to their apartments, and proceeded to disencumber themselves of their costumes. Albert, as he took off his dress, carefully preserved the bunch of violets. It was his token, reserved for the morrow. The two friends sat down to table, but they could not refrain from remarking the difference between the Count of Monte Cristo's table and that of Signor Pastrini. Truth compelled Franz, in spite of the dislike he seemed to have taken to the Count, to confess that the advantage was not on Pastrini's side. During dessert, the servant inquired at what time they wished for the carriage. Albert and Franz looked at each other, fearing really to abuse the Count's kindness. The servant understood them.
His Excellency the Count of Monte Cristo had given positive orders that the carriage was to remain at your lordship's orders all day, and that they could therefore dispose of it without fear of indiscretion.
They resolved to profit by the Count's courtesy, and ordered the horses to be harnessed, while they substituted evening dress for that which they had on, and which was somewhat the worse for the numerous combats they had sustained. This precaution taken, they went to the theatre, and installed themselves in the Countess's box. During the first act, the Countess G entered. Her first look was at the box where she had seen the Count the previous evening, so that she perceived Franz and Albert in the place of so very person concerning whom she had expressed so strange an opinion to Franz. Her opera glass was so fixedly directed towards them that Franz saw that it would be cruel not to satisfy her curiosity, and, availing himself of one of the privileges of the spectators of the Italian theatres who use their boxes to hold receptions, the two friends went to pay their respects to the Countess. Scarcely had they entered when she mentioned to Franz to assume the seat of honor. Albert, in his turn, sat behind.
Well,
said she, hardly giving Franz time to sit down.
it seems you have nothing better to do than make the acquaintance of this new Lord Ruthven, and you are already the best of friends in the world.
Without being so far advanced as that, my dear Countess, I cannot deny that we have abused his good nature all day.
All day?
Yes. This morning we breakfasted with him, we rode in his carriage all day, and now we have taken possession of his box.
You know him, then?
Yes and no.
How so?
It is a long story.
Tell it to me.
It would frighten you too much.
So much the more reason.
At least wait until the story has conclusion.
Very well, I prefer complete histories. But tell me how you made his acquaintance. Did anyone introduce you to him?
No, it was he who introduced himself to us.
When?
Last night after we left you.
And through what medium?
The very prosaic one of our landlord.
He is staying, then, at the Hotel de Londres with you?
Not only in the same hotel, but on the same floor.
What is his name? For, of course, you know.
Count of Monte Cristo.
That is not a family name?
No, it is the name of the island he has purchased.
And he is a count.
The Tuscan Count.
Well, we must put up with that,
said the Countess, who was herself from one of the oldest Venetian families.
What sort of man is he?
Ask the Vicomte de Morcerf.
You hear, Monsieur de Morcerf. I am referred to you.
We should be very hard to please, madam. Did we not think him delightful? A friend of 10 years' standing could not have done more for us, or with a more perfect courtesy.
Come, I see my vampire is only some millionaire who has taken the appearance of Lara in order to avoid being confounded with Monsieur de Rothschild. And you have seen her?
Her?
The beautiful Greek of yesterday.
No, we heard, I think, the sound of her guzla, but she remained perfectly invisible.
When you say invisible, it is only to keep up the mystery. For whom do you take the blue domino at the window with the white curtains?
Where was this window with... Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Where was this window with white hangings?
The Rospoli Palace.
The Count has 3 windows at the Rospoli Palace?
Yes, did you pass through the Corso?
Yes.
Well, did you notice 2 windows hung with yellow damask and one with white damask with a red cross? Those were the Count's windows.
Why, he must be a nabob. Do you know what those 3 windows were worth?
2 or 300 Roman crowns?
2 or 3,000.
The deuce!
Does his island produce for him such a revenue?
It does not bring him a bajako.
Then why did he purchase it?
For a whim.
He is an original, then.
In reality, he seemed to me somewhat eccentric. Were he at Paris, and a frequenter of the theatres, I should say he was a poor devil, literally mad. This morning he made 2 or 3 exits worth of Didier or Antony.
At this moment, a fresh visitor entered, and according to custom, Franz gave up his seat to him. This circumstance had, moreover, the effect of changing the conversation. An hour afterwards, the 2 friends returned to their hotel. Signor Pastrini had already set about procuring their disguises for the morrow, and he assured them that they would be perfectly satisfied. The next morning, at 9 o'clock, he entered Franz's room, followed by a tailor who had 8 or 10 Roman peasant costumes in his arm. They selected 2 exactly alike and charged the tailor to sew on each of their hats about 20 yards of ribbon and to procure them 2 of the long silk sashes of different colors with which the lower orders decorate themselves on fete days. Albert was impatient to see how he looked on his new dress, a jacket and breeches of blue velvet, silk stockings with clocks, shoes with buckles, and a silk waistcoat. This picturesque attire set him off at a great advantage, and when he had bound the scarf around his waist, and when his hat, placed coquettishly on the one side, let fall on his shoulder a stream of ribbons, Franz was forced to confess that the costume has much to do with the physical superiority we accord to certain nations. The Turks used to be so picturesque with their long and flowing robes, but are they not now hideous with their blue frocks buttoned up to the chin, and their red caps which make them so look like a bottle of wine with a red seal? Franz complimented Albert, who looked at himself in the glass with an unequivocal smile of satisfaction. They were thus engaged when the Count of Monte Cristo entered. When the Count of Monte Cristo entered...
I'm so sorry. Gentlemen, although a companion is agreeable, perfect freedom is sometimes still more agreeable. I come to say that today, for the remainder of the carnival, I leave the carriage entirely at your disposal. The host will tell you I have 3 or 4 more, so that you will not inconvenience me in any way. Make use of it, I pray you, for your pleasure or your business.
The young men wished to decline, but they could find no good reason for refusing an offer which was so agreeable to them. The Count of Monte Cristo remained a quarter of an hour with them, conversing on all subjects with the greatest ease. He was, as we have already said, perfectly well acquainted with literature of all countries. A glance at the walls of his salon proved to Franz and Albert that he was a connoisseur of pictures. A few words he let fall showed them that he was no stranger to the sciences, and he seemed much occupied with chemistry. The 2 friends did not venture to return the Count the two friends did not venture to return the Count the breakfast he had given them. It would have been too absurd to offer him in exchange for his excellent table the very inferior one of Signor Pastrini. They told him so frankly, and he received their excuses with the air of a man who appreciated their delicacy. Albert was charmed with the Count's manner, and he was only prevented from recognizing him for a perfect gentleman by reason of his varied knowledge. The permission to do what he liked with the carriage pleased him above all, for the fair peasants had appeared in a most elegant carriage the preceding evening, and Albert was not sorry to be upon an equal footing with them. At 1:30 they descended. The coachman and footmen had put on their livery over their disguises, which gave them a more ridiculous appearance than ever, and which gained them the applause of Franz and Albert. Albert had fastened the faded bunch of violets to his buttonhole. At the first sound of the bell, they hastened into the Corso by the Via Vittoria. At the second turn, a bunch of fresh violets, thrown from a carriage filled with harlequins, indicated to Albert that, like himself and his friends, the peasants had changed their costume also, and whether it was the result of chance or whether a similar feeling had possessed them both, while he had donned their costume, they had assumed his. Albert placed the fresh bouquet in his buttonhole, but he kept the faded one in his hand, and when he again met the calash, he raised it to his lips, an action which seemed greatly to amuse not only the fair lady who had thrown it, but her joyous companions also. The day was as gay as the preceding one, perhaps even more animated and noisy. The Count appeared for an instant at his window, but when they again passed, he had disappeared. It is almost needless to say that the flirtation between Albert and the fair peasant continued all day. In the evening, on his return, Franz found a letter from the embassy informing him that he would have the honor of being received by His Holiness the next day. At each previous visit he had made to Rome, he had solicited and obtained the same favor, and, incited as much by religious feeling as by gratitude, he was unwilling to quit the capital of the Christian world without laying his respectful homage at the feet of one of St. Peter's successors, who has set the rare example of all the virtues. He did not then think of the carnival, for in spite of his condescension and touching kindness, one cannot incline oneself without awe before the venerable and noble old man called Gregory XVI. On his return from the Vatican, Franz carefully avoided the Corso. He brought away with him a treasure of pious thoughts to which the mad gaiety of the maskers would have been profanation. At 5:10, Albert entered overjoyed. The harlequin had reassumed her peasant's costume, and as she passed, she raised her mask. She was charming. Franz congratulated Albert, who received his congratulations with the air of a man conscious that they are merited. He had recognized by certain unmistakable signs that his fair incognita belonged to the aristocracy. He had made up his mind to write to her the next day. Franz remarked, while he gave these details, that Albert seemed to have something to ask of him, but that he was unwilling to ask it. He insisted upon it, declaring beforehand that he was willing to make any sacrifice the other wished. Albert let himself be pressed just as long as friendship required, and then avowed to Franz that he would do him a great favor by allowing him to occupy the carriage alone the next day. Albert attributed to Franz's absence the extreme kindness of the fair peasant in raising her mask. Franz was not sufficiently egotistical to stop Albert in the middle of an adventure that promised to prove so agreeable to his curiosity and so flattering to his vanity. He felt assured that the perfect indiscretion of his friend would duly inform him of all that happened. And as, during the 3 years that he had travelled all over Italy, a similar piece of good fortune had never fallen to his share, Franz was by no means sorry to learn how to act on such an occasion. He therefore promised Albrecht that he would content himself on the morrow with witnessing the carnival from the windows of the Rospoli palace. Next morning, he saw Albrecht pass and repass, holding an enormous bouquet, which he doubtless meant to make the bearer of his amorous epistle. This belief was changed into certainty when Franz saw the bouquet, conspicuous by a circle of white camellias, in the hand of a charming harlequin, dressed in rose-colored satin. The evening was no longer joy, but delirium. Albrecht nothing doubted but that the fair unknown would reply in the same manner. Franz anticipated his wishes by saying that the noise fatigued him, and that he should pass the next day in writing and looking over his journal. Albert was not deceived, for the next evening Franz saw him enter triumphantly, shaking a folded paper, which he held by one corner.
Well, was I mistaken?
She has answered you.
Read.
This word was pronounced in a manner impossible to describe. Franz took the letter and read.
Tuesday evening at 7 o'clock, descend from your carriage opposite the Via dei Pontefici, and follow the Roman peasant who snatches your torch from you. When you arrive at the first step of the church of San Giacomo, be sure to fasten a knot of rose-colored ribbons to the shoulder of your harlequin costume, in order that you may be recognized. Until then, you will not see me. Constancy and discretion.
Well, what do you think of that?
I think that the adventure is assuming a very agreeable appearance.
I think so also. And I very much fear you will go alone to the Duke of Bracciano's ball.
Franz and Albert had received that morning an invitation from the celebrated Roman banker.
Take care, Albert. All the nobility of Rome will be present, and if your fair incognita belong to the higher class of society, you must go there.
Whether she goes there or not, my opinion is still the same. You have read the letter?
Yes.
You know how imperfectly the women of the Mezzocito are educated in Italy?
Yes.
Well, read the letter again. Look at the writing, and find, if you can, any blemish in the language or orthography.
The writing was, in reality, charming, and the orthography irreproachable.
You are born to good fortune,
said Franz as he returned the letter.
Laugh as much as you will. I am in love.
You alarm me. I see that I shall not only go alone to the Duke of Bracciano's, but also return to Florence alone.
If my unknown be as amiable as she is beautiful, I shall fix myself at Rome for 6 weeks at least. I adore Rome, and I have always had a great taste for archaeology.
Come, 2 or 3 more such adventures, and I do not despair of seeing you a member of the Academy.
Doubtless, Albert was about to discuss seriously his right to the academic chair when they were informed that dinner was ready. Albert's love had not taken away his appetite. He hastened with Franz to seat himself, free to recommence the discussion after dinner. After dinner, the Count of Monte Cristo was announced. They had not seen him for 2 days. Signor Pastrini informed them that business had called him to Civitavecchia. He had started the previous evening and had only returned an hour since. He was charming. Whether he kept a watch over himself, or whether by accident he did not sound the acrimonious chords that in other circumstances had been touched, he was tonight like everybody else. The man was an enigma to Franz. The Count must feel sure that Franz recognized him, and yet he had not let fall a single word indicating any previous acquaintance between them. On his side, however great Franz's desire was to elude the former interview, the fear of being disagreeable to the man who had loaded him and his friend with kindness prevented him from mentioning it. The Count had learned that the two friends had sent to secure a box at the Argentina theater, and they were told that they were all set. In consequence, he brought them the key of his own. At least, such was the apparent motive of his visit. Franz and Albert made some difficulty, alleging their fear of depriving him from it. But the Count replied that, as he was going to the Pali Theatre, the box at the Argentina Theatre would be lost if they did not profit by it. This assurance determined the two friends to accept it. Franz had by degrees become accustomed to the Count's pallor, which had so forcibly struck him at their first meeting. He could not refrain from admiring the severe beauty of his features, the only defect, or rather the principal quality of which was the pallor. Truly a Byronic hero. Franz could not, we will not say see him, but even think of him without imagining his stern head upon Manfred's shoulders, or beneath Lara's helmet. His forehead was marked with the line that indicates the constant presence of bitter thoughts. He had the fiery eyes that seemed to penetrate to the very soul, and the haughty and disdainful upper lip that gives to the words it utters a peculiar character that impresses upon the minds of those to whom they are addressed. The Count was no longer young. He was at least 40, and yet it was easy to understand that he was formed to rule the young men with whom he associated at present. And, to complete his resemblance with the fantastic heroes of the English poet, the Count seemed to have the power of fascination. Albert was constantly expatiating on their good fortune in meeting such a man. Franz was less enthusiastic, but the Count exercised over him also the ascendancy a strong mind always acquires over a mind less domineering. He thought several times of the project the Count had of visiting Paris, and he had no doubt but that, with his eccentric character, his characteristic face, and his colossal fortune, he would produce a great effect there. And yet, he did not wish to be at Paris when the Count was there. The evening passed as evenings mostly pass at Italian theaters, that is, not in listening to the music, but in paying visits and conversing. The Countess G wished to revive the subject of the Count, but Franz announced that he had something far nearer to tell her. And, in spite of Albert's demonstrations of false modesty, he informed the Countess of the great event which had preoccupied them for the last 3 days. Similar intrigues are not uncommon in Italy, if we may credit travelers. The Countess did not manifest the least incredulity, but congratulated Albert on his success. They promised, upon separating, to meet at the Duke de Bracciano's ball, to which all Rome was invited. The heroine of the bouquet kept her word. She gave Albert no sign of her existence the morrow or the day after. At length Tuesday came, the last and most tumultuous day of the carnival. On Tuesday, the theatres open at 10 o'clock in the morning, as Lent begins at after 8 at night. On Tuesday, all those who would want of money, time, or enthusiasm have not been to see the carnival before, mingle in the gaiety and contribute to the noise and the excitement. From 2 o'clock till 5, Franz and Albert followed in the fete, exchanging handfuls of confetti with the other carriages and the pedestrians who crowded amongst the horses' feet and the carriage wheels without a single accident, a single dispute, or a single fight. The fetes are veritable pleasure days to Italians. The author of this history, who has resided 5 or 6 years in Italy, does not recollect to have ever seen a ceremony interrupted by one of these events so common in other countries. Albert was triumphant in his harlequin costume. A knot of rose-colored ribbons fell from his shoulder almost to the ground. In order that there might be no confusion, Franz wore his peasant's costume. As the day advanced, the tumult became greater. There was not on the pavement, in the carriages, at the windows, a single tongue that was silent. a single arm that did not move. It was a human storm, made up of a thunder of cries and a hail of sweetmeats, flowers, eggs, oranges, and nosegays. At 3 o'clock, the sound of fireworks let off of the Piazza del Popolo and the Piazza di Venezia. Heard with difficulty amid the din and confusion, they announced that the races were about to begin. The races, like the Moccoli, are one of the episodes peculiar to the last days of the carnival. At the sound of the fireworks, the carriages instantly broke ranks and retired by the adjacent streets. All these evolutions are executed with an inconceivable address and marvelous rapidity, without the police interfering in the matter. The pedestrians ranged themselves against the walls. Then the trampling of horses and the clashing of steel were heard. A detachment of carbineers, 15 abreast, galloped up the Corso in order to clear for the Barbieri. When the detachment arrived at Piazza del Venezia, a second volley of fireworks was discharged to announce that the street was clear. Almost instantly, in the midst of a tremendous and general outcry, 7 or 8 horses, excited by the shouts of 300,000 spectators, passed by like lightning. Then the castle of St. Angelo fired 3 cannon to indicate that number 3 had won. Immediately, without any other signal, the carriages moved on, flowing on toward the Corso, down all the streets, like torrents pent up for a while, which again flow into the parent river, and the immense stream again continued its course between its 2 granite banks. A new source of noise and movement was added to the crowd. The sellers of mucoletti entered on the scene. The mucoli, or mucoletti, are candles which vary in size from the paschal taper to the rushlight, and which give to each actor in the great final scene of the carnival 2 very serious problems to grapple with. First, how to keep his own mocoletto alight, and secondly, how to extinguish the mocoletti of others. The mocoletto is like life. Man has found but one means of transmitting it, and that one comes from God. But he has discovered 1,000 means of taking it away, and the devil has somewhat aided him. The mocoletto is kindled by approaching it to a light. The mocoletto is kindled by approaching it to a light. But who can describe the 1,000 means of extinguishing the mocoletto? The gigantic bellows, the monstrous extinguishers, the superhuman fans. Everyone hastened to purchase mocoletti, Franz and Albert among the rest. The night was rapidly approaching, and already the cry of "Mocoletti!" repeated by the shrill voices of 1,000 vendors. 2 or 3 stars began to burn among the crowd. It was a signal. At the end of 10 minutes, 50,000 lights glittered, descending from the Palazzo di Venezia to the Piazza del Popolo, and mounting on the Piazza del Popolo to the Palazzo di Venezia. It seemed like a fete of jack-o'-lanterns. It is impossible to form any idea of it without having seen it. Suppose that all the stars had descended from the sky and mingled in a wild dance on the face of the earth, the whole accompanied by cries that were never heard in any other part of the world. The facchino follows the prince, the transteverin, the citizen, everyone blowing, extinguishing, relighting. How had old Aeolus appeared at this moment, he would have been proclaimed the king of the Mucoli, and Aquilo, the heir presumptive to the throne. This battle of folly and flame continued for 2 hours. The Corso was light as day. The features of the spectators on the 3rd and 4th stories were visible. Every 5 minutes, Albert took out his watch. At length, it pointed to 7. The 2 friends were in the Via del The 2 friends were in the Via dei Pontefici. Albert sprang out, bearing his mocoletto on his hand. 2 or 3 masks strove to knock his mocoletto out of his hand, but Albert, a first-rate pugilist, sent them rolling in the street, one after the other, and continued his course toward the church of San Giacomo. The steps were filled with masks, who strove to snatch each other's torches. Franz followed Albert with his eyes and saw him mount the first step. Instantly, a mask wearing the well-known costume of the peasant woman snatched his mocoletto from him without his offering any resistance. Franz was too far off to hear what they said, but without doubt, nothing hostile passed, for he saw Albert disappear arm in arm with the peasant girl. He watched them pass through the crowd for some time, but at length he lost sight of them in the Via Marcello. Suddenly, the bell that gives a signal for the end of carnival sounded, and at the same moment, all the mocoletti were extinguished as if by enchantment. It seemed as though one immense blast of the wind had extinguished everyone. Franz found himself in utter darkness. No sound was audible save that of the carriages that were carrying the maskers home. Nothing was visible, save a few lights that burnt behind the windows. The carnival was over. End of chapter.
Yay.
Alrighty then.
Well, they certainly knew how to party.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Not a cell phone in sight, just people living in the moment. Nothing could go wrong, right? The city has gone totally quiet and dark, and Albert just left with a pretty lady who might not even be a lady. Like, Franz was like,
What?
hey, all the women who are like worth pursuing, like high class ladies, they're going to be at the ball where all the other, nobles are. Like, what are you doing? He's like, nope, I'm just gonna go pursue this person,
Yeah,
this
no,
total
she-
stranger.
She wants
Huh?
exactly. Yeah, she just wants to meet me in the back of the alley, like any other high lady.
Oh my
You-
gosh.
You think someone would do that? Go to the carnival and tell lies?
Please say it ain't so.
Oh my
Don't
god.
worry, we can always trust young men to think rationally and to behave safely, especially in crowds.
I mean, it's not like there was a very symbolic part where the girl blew out his candle, right?
Mhm.
Like that candle's supposed to be like your life, and she just comes and like blew it out. Like, oh, that has no significance at all. Yeah, we're just gonna have fun. We're just gonna talk innocently. There's not gonna be any shady business going on. Of course, Albert is of a totally different idea of what's going to happen, but
You know what? I think Albert saw her blowing on his candle and thought, yeah,
To be fair, she didn't blow it out. She snatched it away. His life is in her hands, you could say.
mm.
oh my
So
Is that what that symbolism
she's
means?
holding his candle, is what you're saying.
God.
Hey now.
Hey!
You're an all-star.
Stop it.
Albert wouldn't complain at this point.
Well, we
but-
can say Albert is not the sharpest tool in the shed.
Yeah, we've been saying
Yes.
that forever. Franz, meanwhile, okay, so let's talk about Franz, because I like the fact that we're getting the story from his point of view. He's kind of like the normal dude. He's like a normie, okay? And
Yeah.
like he sees that Monte Cristo is like really sus. Albert is just like, ooh, rich man, very generous. Let's us use the carriage. Let's us use these windows, which are like incredibly expensive to secure those windows to watch the carnival at. Yeah, I'm like, Albert, baby, there's no such thing as a free lunch or a free carriage, let alone free windows or, yeah. So Franz is a little bit more like suspicious, more. And yet, it's good of him that he like encourages his friend, like supports him, if not like outright says like, yeah, you're doing the. No, he's not going so far as to say like, yeah, yeah, that's a great idea. Go meet this total stranger in the dark. He's like, I don't know, but he still goes like to him as far as he can, like a buddy, you know, kind of goes with him. Like, I'm not gonna put like dampen your fun, but just, you know, be careful.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, you know what? I have to support my friend in this, I guess. Like, even if he seems stupid, like, still my friend. Let him have fun. Let him get some.
Mhm.
Oh, he's definitely very, very not smart.
Mhm.
Yeah, I wonder at Mercedes, because I would hope that Mercedes brought up somebody who is more like, I'm not talking about
I'd hold back on spoilers because we haven't established that this is her child yet.
Actually, we have.
well, it's Morcerf. It's Albert de Morcerf. That's
Yeah, but Fernand in the first chapters his last name was Mondego.
Yes, but we've already established that Fernand became the Count de Morcerf.
Mhm.
So the name has already given.
I forgot.
Yeah, it was. So anyway, I'm surprised that such a nincompoop came out of somebody who at least had a little bit of sense and resourcefulness in this cruel and vile world. Like,
Maybe he takes after his father
Yeah.
more.
Takes after dad.
oh my gosh, I think so.
You could make the. I don't know. I feel like he actually does probably take after Mercedes more here because he doesn't seem to have a suspicious bone in his body.
Yeah, I guess, but I'm talking about like resourcefulness and just being a little bit more like prendido. Like, I don't know how to say it in English, but like he has to be like a little bit more aware of not just it's something it's something that as somebody who was, you know, like, I feel like somebody who was brought up in hardship, they would at least, you know, like pass something of that to their kid. Because
It's smart.
anyway,
I mean, children, they don't always take the advice and warnings of their parents who may have taught them right. You know, as you said, they grew up in just about poverty, but he didn't. So he could hear all their warnings and hear them say, "Oh yeah, you need to be aware of these things," but him living in the lap of luxury with the silver spoon in his mouth, he probably doesn't take this seriously.
Yeah, this happens. Even in just one generation, people can go from a family can go from like struggling and working hard to achieve something to like spoiled brats. You know.
And obviously, Mercedes valued kindness and love from Edmund, so it is only reasonable that she would try, if she saw those virtues in Albert, she would encourage them.
Theo, you were gonna say something earlier. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think just because they lived in hardship, I think that might even all the more give them reason to like coddle Albert and just give him the world and not let him see any hardship whatsoever.
That's fair.
Is true. That is true. Well,
I had a funny moment during that read when I was like, so the characters that are speaking are Albert, Franz, and the Countess. Albert and Franz are me and Thiel trying to do like male voices, and then Haye here is the Countess. Like,
It's very Shakespeare, yes.
I'm doing my very
I found that very amusing myself.
Yes, pretty funny.
yeah, you guys did an amazing job as always.
Side note, I did do a little bit of Googling in the background as to why is she always just called the Countess G? Apparently, it is a reference to a real person, Teresa Guccioli, who was a mistress of Lord Byron. So
Oh.
Oh my.
there we go.
Oh.
So to avoid possible
Libel.
slander, I guess.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen like Jane Austen also when she wrote, she would write like the Shire G something or S something, like when giving like real life people or places, she would do that too. So it was something I did at the time. Like, okay, nice. I
Certainly.
guess. All right. So what did you guys think of? Let's see. What did you guys think was happening behind the scenes with Edmund Dantes? Because what do you think are his impressions of these two kids? Because we know Franz is wondering like, why isn't he talking to me about meeting at the island? What are his thoughts on Franz and Albert?
I don't know, like if he already knows like who they are, and which probably he knows, it's like alright, let's see what kind of kids those kids are, like I feel like he's testing them to see like, okay, what are they up to, like actually, like what kind of people they are, I don't know, but kind of giving them the benefit of the doubt, like he's like they are not part of his revenge plan. They didn't do anything wrong, stuff like that.
It is interesting though. They happen to be on the same floor with the Count of Monte Cristo. They can't get a carriage, but the Monte Cristo can get one for them. They can't get peasant costumes, but they just have some in ready supply.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it is funny.
It's ridiculous and over the top. I'm just wondering, like, so one of the things that they bring up is how he like leaves for business and then he returns, and I'm like, how much is he like doing behind the scenes work, like meeting with his fellow, the people that he's gonna use to orchestrate his plan, like during this time. And also I think like he has definitely just targeted Albert, because I think that between him and Franz, he's the more likely to, fall into his snare. Franz seems to be a little bit more reserved. And also I think that he's been like studying them all these days, like studying kind of their character to see how he can use them a little bit more. So yeah, he recognized that Albert is the more impressionable one, the one who likes to get, his vanity and his ego flattered. So it's like, okay, that's how we're gonna do it. So yeah, I just kind of feel like the eyes of the Count of Monte Cristo are just like kind of like on them, like planning and plotting behind the scenes.
I do want to mention that I enjoyed the French slander that we have in chat right now.
Again. Man.
Yukihime, oh, we want a tailor now! A very French demand.
What, last
Yeah,
time?
when I heard yes, a very French demand, I was like, what? I mean, it's true. It's true from what I hear of the French, but it's still funny. And
Yeah.
I love how it's constantly mentioned that yes, those are two French people in Italy, and they have a lot of culture shocks, and it's like, oh my god, this is a different planet from our home. Yeah, we're not in Kansas anymore.
Speaking of that, like comparing things to home, it's really funny how Franz is like, yeah, if the Count of Monte Cristo ever goes to Paris, I don't want to be there. Like, I'm gonna keep my distance from him. Like, it's to that degree that he's just like really wants to, like, really doesn't vibe well with him. He gives him like doesn't trust him. So it's
What are you talking about?
Oh, when Franz is talking about
France.
The Count of Monte Cristo, he's like, yeah, he said that one day he's gonna go to Paris. Well, if he goes to Paris, I don't want to be there. Like, I hope I don't have to be around him. Oh, buddy.
Why? Why?
I wonder
He
why.
was always nice to you.
Well, it is funny how Franz like instantly clocked him. Like you seem actually kind of like a deeply hurt individual who's seeking revenge to me. And he's like, no, here, take this hashish and forget all about this.
I mean, even if he hadn't clocked him, though, the like reaction to the execution alone would make me go, maybe I shouldn't spend.
I don't feel
time
safe around you. Yes.
Yeah.
He's a little sinister. Did you also catch the little bit that he said, like, yeah, everybody woke up from, the dream or nightmare of having seen the execution, except, the one that got executed. He's not gonna wake up. And are we the lucky ones for having woken up, or is he the lucky one for continuing to sleep? I don't know. I'm like, yo, that sounds really dark, dude. Yeah, no wonder Franz is picking up on all these evil vibes.
Even his face.
I know this is the 1800s, but you need therapy.
Therapy? What therapy? Here, have a bottle of wine. And some hashish.
Yeah. There was even a line. There was even a line that was about his forehead. Yes, and his pallor, and then his forehead has those lines that mean that he always has bad thoughts. Like what?
Like bitter thoughts, yeah.
Bitter thoughts, yeah. Like that's what that line signifies. It's very clear. It's evident. I can see it.
Yeah, so far I'm enjoying Franz. I'm enjoying the Count a little less. I know it's Edmond Dantes, and I know he has a good heart. I know he's been deeply hurt. He's still my baby, but right now I'm not liking him very much. I am kind of like in the side of Franz. I'm like, what are you doing? My mind is just like astounded at the lengths he's going through for this revenge. Like how much money he's like throwing away on this, on just like bullying these children, because he's gonna bully them at some point. I'm sure of it. Like there's nothing good is gonna come from like Albert going after the pretty young lady in the darkness. So like Edmund, just live your life, go sail around the world, get married, have a family, be joyful.
I did not think that that's where it was going. I don't remember the movie at this point, like every detail. So he's gonna bully them. You know what I thought was gonna he was planning that he was actually gonna kind of bullying them by putting them in like a bad situation and then rescuing them again and again. Like he was rescuing with like small things, small favors with the carriage and the costumes and a lot of other things. And like he was gonna just be like, yeah, let's get them kidnapped or something or threatened, and then I come in to save them, just so like I don't know, like to like make them, especially Albert, more in his debt, kind of situation.
Yeah. I wouldn't put it past him to do that, though.
When he comes to take his mother, he doesn't protest,
Oh my gosh. Wow. Like, yeah, you got me windows and a carriage, fine, you can take my mother. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
That's what I thought he was going for. Like, yeah, of course I take care of you. You're gonna be my son.
Oh no. I don't know, man. That's all kinds of wrong, especially like how the characterization is right now. Like, I don't see it in my head, the ending. There's a Count of Monte Cristo, I think it's a 2002 version, where there's kind of like a reconciliation of some sort. And I'm like, no, I don't see that going this way at all in this book. The way things are, it's like, please, no. That would be so wrong.
Maybe I shouldn't say that. I have never seen the ending of this book in video form.
So we are going to we're in for
Yeah.
a good. You know what? That's good. I'm looking forward to it. I want to see what in Dumas's point of view is like the best way to end this tale of revenge, because Hollywood has had its spin on it, and of course it's reflected on, like, the values of our era are going to be reflected on it rather than the values of the author's era. So it probably is going to be a little bit different than what we expect. So I'm imagining it's closer to the French version though, which I won't. Go watch the movie. We already watched it together if you haven't watched it, so all the more reason to stick around with us so we can talk about the differences at the end in about a year.
Yes, indeed.
In about a year when we finish this. Alright, you guys, anything else you guys want to bring up about this before we close today's reading session?
It's just really interesting how Franz is serving as like an Ishmael to the Count's Ahab, you know, that we're seeing his revenge from an outside perspective at this juncture.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to connect the Ishmael. Ahab. Oh,
Moby Dick?
yes. Okay. Yeah, I'm like, okay. Sorry, both names are from the Bible. I'm like, wait, how is Ishmael connected to King? Sorry. All right, got it. Call me Ishmael. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's a great way of looking at it. Like, we're getting the treatment of show but don't tell. So while it might be a little circuitous, it works, and I appreciate the time that this story is taking to show us this vivid, crazy world of the carnival in Rome during this time, but also how things work and the machinations behind, and giving us like little glimpses of what could happen and making us guess and wonder what the next bit is gonna what's next in store. All right.
I really want to go to the carnival in Venezia when it's the carnival. Like, it sounds and it looks so interesting. It's in February every year, and like it has to be like in winter with those costumes. People would die if it was in summer. Like, they would just die.
Yeah, that's true. It's always in late winter, early spring, early springish.
Yeah, it's in February.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I want to go there one time. But I feel like I you know what? When I necessarily need to go, when I actually sit down and make a costume, that's when I have to go. Until then,
Well, I'm sure you can ask Monsieur Pastrini to get you 10 costumes. You can pick up from there. Yeah, why not?
Just don't follow a stranger to a second location.
That's my problem. I never follow strangers to second location, and that's why I don't get anywhere.
I think we can all say that because you don't follow strangers to second locations, you're with us still. So thank you for not following strangers into shady and dark alleys. Same goes for all of you guys. I'm just thankful that you guys were here and hung out with me. You guys are safe and sound, made it all the way to this part in your life where we could read together. I am thankful for Patrick, who read Count of Monte Cristo, Teal, who read Albert Morcerf, and who was our highlighter MVP, Yukihime, who read Franz de Pinet, and Ye, who is the fellow cat wrangler here. He also read Servant, Signor Pastrini, and oddly enough, the Countess G. And of course, I'm thankful to all of you guys who were in the chat and joining us, or who are watching this live. I hope you enjoyed it. You join us on Wednesday as we continue our next read. We want to know if somebody gets maced in the head.
Please, no. I like the guy.
What was the word for that?
Mazzolato.
Specific... Yeah.
Is somebody gonna
Let's not get mazzolato here.
I feel like some gelato though. Can we have some gelato, everybody?
No, it's winter.
It's not.
Cold makes me sick.
It's 80
You can have
degrees.
ice cream in
It's
winter,
80
it's fine.
degrees outside my house, so I'm gonna go get some gelato, you guys.
I mean, not every place is a near desert like LA.
Yeah, I guess. Okay. All right, everybody.
Some of us live in real climates.
There are 30 degrees here,
Isn't
Fahrenheit.
that really hot though? 30 degrees?
No, Fahrenheit.
Fahrenheit.
Oh, Fahrenheit. Oh.
She did the conversion for you.
Oh.
It's almost -1.
Minus.
Yay,
one.
we don't get the commie measurements. We get freedom units.
You can tell because nobody understands them.
At the very
Alright.
least, I remember
Guys.
that like 0 is 32 Fahrenheit, so
Something,
that's why
yeah.
I said in the 30s. Because yes, water has frozen over here,
Ah.
and I am.
Wow.
Is it gonna
Yeah.
snow? You think?
Oh no, it's not gonna snow. It's still mostly raining a little bit, but it's if it happens a day, like it might happen, you know, one of
Okay.
those days, but probably not. It's not very rainy. No.
Mhm. You know who knows cold right now? Maybe is Canada. And speaking of Canada, JC Fergie's on the chat, the YouTube chat. Hello, Fergie. Welcome. Happy that you joined us. How's the weather over there? Is it gelato time? It's gonna be gelato time for me. I got some chocolate gelato in the freezer that I actually wanna delve into. Yeah. All right, you guys. I'm gonna head on out, and thank you, gang, for joining me. Hope you guys come back on Wednesday, and we can read some more Count of Monte Cristo and see what the heck happened to Albert. Until then, everybody, take care. Have a wonderful weekend. Goodbye. Say bye-bye, gang.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Yeah.
Bye bye, gang.
Bye.
Ciao.